some decisions made or some milestones or some events in a country or in a man's life or in any type of system, democracy or dictatorship or communism or any entity, there are some events which sometimes are heart-wrenching and extremely complex at that time of that event. And it is said that if a person, a community, a family, a nation come out of that, the nation will be much more stronger, the family will be much more stronger, and the individual will be much more stronger. And it could be other way around, that an individual, a family, a community, a nation will be destroyed on those events, and the history will write that this was the greatest time in the history of that entity, or it will say this was the end of this entity. I had promised that I will not give my opinion about the Ram Janmabhoomi. I will not wait till the actual verdict comes, and which is, if the news reports are not fake, then sometime today the five judge bench of Indian Supreme Court will deliver this judgment. I dig deeper, I checked, I did some research, and I found out that actually, even though the case was 134-year-old, and the British actually, this case started because in 1934 there was an attempt to destroy this mosque, and whatever was done, like in 1992, there was an attempt and case was registered, and the British court did rendered a fine, a community fine, a community fine on Hindu community in Ayodhya for paying for the rebuilding of whatever was destroyed in that attempt. But I don't see any reference to what is the original or originality of this disputed site. It has no relevance, but there is only one relevance, that the British in 1934, after that incident, did not say that this was correct. Nobody need to pay any fine. When a fine is imposed, it is imposed for a misconduct, a breaking of law, or anything which is against the law, then only the fine will be imposed. And that fine was imposed by the British on the Hindu community of Ayodhya to do that. 134 years after, or I don't know, 135 or whatever, the very first, uh, as I said previously, that there should not be any, there should the only consideration by the judges, since they are the judges, they all have learned, went to law school and have become the Supreme Court judges. The only concern should be the legality. They cannot be emotional. They cannot be a Hindu or Muslim judge. They have to be only judge. And I am, without going into even the two option, discussing the two option, without even discussing one of them, I'm just saying that the judgment should reflect the judges, not emotions, not any political pressure that has been, if it has been brought upon them by anybody, by anyone in the ruling government or anyone outside the ruling government. And they should not even be following the mediation committee, because the mediation committee, they are not judges, they are agents appointed by the government. It will be one thing, bottom line is, however heart-wrenching this decision of this 5-judge bench, however unattractive or bad the decision may look, but the bottom line is, a nation is built by digesting this type of events. And when I say digesting this type of event, is the nation who sees a democratic election process, throwing one leader, bringing another government, changing the government at all the levels without any. That is, of course, very, very big disappointment when a political party lose the election. But to accept the result and do not commit to any unlawful activity is graceful, and I sincerely believe that a mature democracy should be resilient enough to see a change of power however lovable the leader is. But if he loses, he has to go. The new one has to come. However, disappointing a decision maybe the nation must accept it with a grace and without any unlawful activity. I will not give even a hint of my opinion, but I will give tons and tons and tons of hope, wish, and courage and grace to my fellow countrymen to digest the decision. Whatever it is, the decision could be a, even if the decision is a cheating, perceived cheating by somebody, any party, the first reaction is it has to be accepted with grace. There is appeal process in the court system also, and there is a political process. Uh, but the very fact that the ruling party has decided to, because this could have been done any time in the last 70 years, but the fact that the ruling party has done this not in the last year of its term, not in the fifth year, not in the fourth year, not in the third year, not in the second year, but in the first 6 months or so after being elected again, after being re-elected. I must commend, even if it is a cheating, because one thing will happen. I think for good that this issue of Ram Janmabhoomi will probably not used again as a vote bank policy. If the ruling party cheats in this judgment and buys everybody, all the judges, or enforce the judgment, then also the judgment is a judgment. And both ruling party and the opposition or any political party in future cannot use this again, because in modern India, in the independent India, a judge or a bench of several judges has never declared its judgment. So yeah, it is a commendable decision to allow this process. Uh, it will be more commendable, and I will definitely speak about it. It will be more commendable if the judgment is following the law. The judgment is coming from the judges, from the law books, from the evidences, from the arguments, and not cheating and grandstanding and appeasement. So, all in all, then it's a great uh, moment in the history of the nation, and the nation will be graceful, the citizens will be peaceful, and the citizens will respect the judgment, respect the emotions of each other, and if unhappy, don't take law in their hands. In fact, take help of the law to follow up. It's a great day. It is not a bad day.